With this sequence, we're going to get into some strengthening work between plank and crow pose. So some really lovely arm work, of course, some core work, some overall strength and stability. We're going to need 2 blocks for this practice that are the same size. Okay, we're going to start with 1, and we're going to begin on our backs. We're going to raise our hips up and place the block underneath our hips. Now, what you'll notice is this block has 3 heights: really high, medium, and low. You decide what level you want to be at. I'm going to do the medium, and I'll be right here. And we're just going to rest back. Easy, easy breathing. And just let your body sink and settle in. Feel the bottoms of your feet. Notice how you've been with your day and your day has been with you. Notice what your breath feels like. Raise one foot to the sky, rotate that leg bone, rest it, the ankle on the knee. And then the other side, raising that leg up, rotating it, and resting it on the knee. So you're doing a figure 4 here. And then that leg moves and the foot comes back down. Great. And then let the hips come up, let the block come down. Take a breather and feel what that feels like. Bring one knee up so you've just moved into hip flexion. Press the knee into the hand. So we're adding isometric. The hip flexors are going to engage. Watch so you don't get too much bracing in through the ribs or in the side of your body. And then the other side. Awesome. All right, lovely. Roll on over now and come on up into cat and cow. So we're coming into tabletop and moving yourself through your pelvis and your spine into cow. And then moving through that pelvis, very sequentially coming up through your spine into cat. And notice how much of your spine you can actually feel moving. And notice if there's any kind of blank spaces or vacant spaces. And you don't necessarily need to do anything about them. It just helps you recognize and become more and more familiar with the nuance of the sensations in your body. Tuning into some of the whispers. You might not know exactly what they mean right now, but they just help bring some connection to you and yourself by increasing your awareness and gaining more clarity of how it is that you move. All right, lovely. And then from here, coming up into a lunge, one leg in front of the other. And as we come forward, we're moving through the hips and the knees and the ankles. So I'd like to say try not to drive this from your spine. And that is a movement, you can do that. But I want you to focus more on becoming aware of that hip, the knee, and the hip on both sides. Taking the toes under, same thing. Feeling the heel pressing back. Feeling the connection of your legs to your pelvis, to your torso and your breath. And you can leave the toes under or let them go, totally up to you. We're going to take a side bend towards the leg that's in front. So my left is in front, I'm going to side bend to my left. And then I'm going to take myself into a twist towards that left leg. And then we can take those toes under if they're not already and lift slightly up into a lunge. And then drop that and untwist. Other side. So coming into a lunge and just moving forward and back. Hips, knees, ankles. Getting a really nice feel of how those pieces and parts are moving relative to each other. Just how it is that you're feeling, what it is that you're feeling. You can take the toes under if you want. Get a feel. If that's any different as you press that heel back. And you can leave the toes there or take them off and come into a side bend. And then coming into a twist. Bringing the toes under if you want, and then up into a little bit of a lunge. Adds a little bit more work. Great, good, and then let that come down. Let the toes come down. Unravel yourself. Good, and then let's come back to your tabletop. We're going to start to move towards your plank. But we're going to take the toes under initially and just lift the knees ever so slightly off the floor. So you're about an inch, and you're going to start to move your hips and your shoulders forward and back. Hips and knees moving back towards the heels. You might feel this a bit more in your quads. Keep those knees down. Watch that they don't come up beyond that inch. It's really just a shoulders and hips movement, plus your knees are moving into flexion, but they're not coming way off the floor. We're not going into downward dog. Good. All right, lovely. So now what we're going to play with is coming back into plank. We're going to take one foot back and then the other foot back. Now, sometimes I find when people are coming into plank, they brace. So they engage first, and then they bring the foot back, and like you tell, the breath is all held, which is one way to do it. And if it works for you, by all means, keep doing it. But consider that you've got these points of your hands, your knees, and your feet on the floor, and you're reaching back, and now you've got a different orientation between your legs and your hands, because one leg is back, you're just on the toes, versus knees and foot. So now when I lift up to bring the second one, I have to take load somewhere through my body. So let your body respond, let that abdomen respond as you come into your plank. And just hold. Pressing the heels back. And then drop down. Let's go for that again. So reach. Feel the body respond to the load change. Great. And then come on down. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to take the blocks here. And our hands are going to come forward of them. So the blocks are on the forearms here. And then we're still in tabletop. And we start to come forward and then up. So watch that your shoulders don't creep up to your ears as you go. Come forward and up. And forward and up. Sort of fun, isn't it? Then what you can play with is coming into plank. Same thing, forward and up. Forward and up. Forward and up. That's a bit harder, isn't it? And then come back down. Okay, let that go. And now bring one foot back and then the other foot back. And now feel what your plank is like as you press those heels back. Good. How responsive is your body being, yeah? Good. Okay, now, taking that in mind, we're now going to come up a little bit close like so. And now you feel the responsiveness of your body as you come into plank and as you do some of those little push-ups. You're going to do the same idea with crow. So you feel your arms, you know how your arms work, and you're going to take your weight more and more over the arms. So you can place your knees however you want to, whether it's on the side of your arms or on the ledge of the arms. Each person has their preference. And you're going to slowly bring your weight over onto your hands and just let yourself rest here. So you can see my toes are on the floor right now. And I'm just resting. I'm just breathing. Now I'm going to bring my weight over a little bit more. And a little bit more. And you decide what feels the most aligned with you. But we don't have to reach those toes up or reach them off. You just need to tip yourself over, which is what I did without even telling you, because I didn't want to make it a thing. Yeah? So again, what I mean by not making a thing is that you're just taking your weight over onto your hands, over onto your hands, and just feeling the weight come into your arms. And now you choose how far over you go. I find a lot of people who are feeling afraid of going further, there's a really good reason for it. And so stay in the place where there's not that fear and let your arms become stronger. Let the integration happen between your arms and your rib cage and your abdomen. You don't need to grip up with your pelvic floor. You don't need to grip up with your abdomen unless it's really working for you. What I find that works better in a sustainable way is as you bring more and more weight over onto those hands, there's more of a responsiveness happening in through your abdomen like we were doing with plank just a moment ago. I find that when people get that responsiveness, the fear starts to dissipate. So I don't think you need to slay the fear in this case. I think you just need to build up that internal alignment or integrity and to really honor whatever that experience is that you might be feeling that you have to slay or push over. Yeah? So play with this again. Coming back, feeling the weight come over onto your hands, noticing the response in your body as you come over, and you'll find that your feet just naturally come off, as opposed to having to lift your toes, yeah? Because the weight just naturally comes over. So from there now, let's come back to tabletop. Take the toes under and lift the knees, and just get a feel there, and start to move forward and back. And does that feel any different? Does it feel any different to come back into plank with that new awareness? And then come on to your back and just rest back and feel what it is that you feel. Bringing one knee to your belly and allowing that self to come into a supine twist. And then back and into the supine twist. And then back. Lovely. Now you might be feeling like you're all gung-ho to either do more activity or to really chill out. So whether you're going into one side of the spectrum or the other, or whether there's something more in the middle, just take a few breaths before you shift over into the next gear. Take the awarenesses and the sensations that you're now aware of, that you now have more clarity over, and take that into the next stages of your practice or into your day. Enjoy, and we will see you tomorrow. Take good care.